Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read for the for the tarot cards. The Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn. Words, they're just gone. Alright. Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards for the supporting Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. There's Gretchen's last name. That way, if you want to find any of those creators, you can find them through the correct spelling of their name. I know Tori has at least one more deck. I don't know about the others. Are we going to do these all face down? Because that's interesting. Why not? We might be doing these all face down or no? We'll see. I think we're going to flip these. What's going on here? Like, we got some fun situations coming forward is what I'm getting. How many cards do we need? Half the deck? I guess we do that. Okay. Aquarius. Going into this. Okay, so you got some secrets. You got some secrets. Got some secrets there. Isolation, growth, and what's the last one? Guilt. Isolation, growth, and guilt. Guilt? I'm not really the biggest fan of guilt. But, like, you're putting a lot of effort in, but you've been putting a lot of effort in. It's almost like maintaining... Oh, boy. Alright, so this is the analogy I'm getting. This is not going to hit for everybody, so don't get upset if it's not for you. You know right off the bat if this analogy hits for you. It's like being in a loveless marriage. That's what I'm getting. And accepting that, that's not for you any longer. For others of you, that's the equivalent of being in a job that it's a job that's a good job technically, or you know what you're doing technically. Maybe you fit there, but you don't like it anymore, and you don't want to do it anymore. But these are all face down. You're accepting that you don't like it anymore. You don't really want to be a part of it anymore. Growth is saying you're realizing maybe you're about at the end of your wits with that. Guilt is kind of like you're not really sure if you're having a hard time accepting that it's time to move on. So it could be work, could be a marriage, could be something completely different that I'm not even touching on. But that's when I'm coming into it. Like, something here is like you're kind of feeling bad that you're done with it. You're realizing, though, that you're not liking it anymore. It's kind of like you've been doing it too long. It just doesn't fit you anymore. But the thing is, there's a lot of gratitude there. Whatever this situation is, it's not bad. You just don't want it anymore. Work, marriage, whatever it is, you just don't want it anymore. It's hard to look at it that way, because it's like, it's technically not bad. You just don't want it anymore. As we keep going forward, and it could be a job, there must be something else there too. Something else you've invested in that you're just like, it's good, but I don't want it anymore. As it keeps going forward, I'm getting there's some type of weird disconnect here. There are good connections here. There are good things connected with the situation. But a lot of times, if this is going to hit, you find yourself acting like you're happier than you actually are. Or maybe, I'm just careful how I go, this is how it's coming across. You're thinking, I would enjoy this a lot more if it was like this instead of the way it actually is. I would be happier doing this job somewhere else, or I'd be happier in this scenario with someone else, or something that you're invested in. Again, you're just finding yourself like thinking like, what would this be like with a different angle, a different connection? I'm really like, it makes me nervous to say it, because I almost feel like maybe that's how it's making you feel. Like, once you start giving yourself the okay to give yourself these, think about these versions, like what if this same situation happened with a different person, or in a different job, or in a different company, or in a different location? For some of you, I knew it was going to finally hit. Some of you, it might be like a location where you live, and you don't want to live there anymore. You want to move, and you're like, yeah, but what am I giving up by moving from here? And it's hard for you to be okay with it for some reason. And I feel like you're trying to pacify it, and you're just kind of trying to not let yourself think of it too much. Yet it is seriously weighing on your heart very strongly with the Hermit. Like, it keeps coming into your mind. You're trying to not give it too much energy. You're trying to not take it too seriously. It seems like whatever this is you're connected to, job, person, location, you're very cemented in. You're very tied into it. And you're having a hard time finding a way out of that. And you're trying to not let yourself think about it too much. But as it keeps progressing forward, it's bothering you that much more and more and more. The farther this goes, the more it bothers you. I want a different person. I want a different job. I want a different company. I want a different location. Something is really bothering you. And the longer it goes, the more it's making you possibly depressed because you do want to change. I feel like you start considering what that might mean. And I feel like there might be conversations that you just seem to create. And for most of you, you might not even expect yourself to do this. It's almost like you find things popping out of your mouth and you're just like, what did I just say? Where am I going with that? And it's just kind of like you're kind of shocking yourself. Like, why am I opening that door? It's because it's in the back of your head and your mouth is just, it's just coming out. Some little pieces are coming out and you're just like, oops. Because I feel like there's sort of letting it out what you want, whatever that is. You're kind of like putting out the options. I want a different job. I want a different person. I want a different location. You're somehow letting that out just a little bit. Not totally. Not totally because it's the Five of Cups, but I'm also getting like it's not really being received all that well. And people are going to figure out what you want. Now, if it's a person you want to change or move on from, they're going to figure it out. If it's a job, they're going to figure it out. If it's you live with somebody at a certain location and you want to sell that and go somewhere else, they're figuring that out. But I'm seeing it's not being received all that well. Okay, is it going to be? Okay. It's not being received all that well. This happens, and I feel like this is a conversation. You've got on the top the Ace of Pentacles. Current responsibilities are being highlighted so strongly. Whatever you're attached to, and I feel like there's a very strong attachment to it, someone is immediately throwing it right in your face. You committed to this. You committed to that. You said this. You said that. You wanted this. You wanted that. Whatever angle they're coming at you with, they're kind of like, you invested in this and you can't just get out of it. Like they're freaking out on you a little bit. Are they freaking out? I don't know if they're freaking out as much as just kind of drill it in that, oh no, you said you were going to do this. You were committed to this. I don't know. It's a little weird energy. There's a lot coming in with it. Then they're fighting to make you stay with it. They're fighting to try to make you stay with it. I feel like there's a lot of off the hook, like random comments. This is all conversation is what I'm getting. Even though it's the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands can be like travel or quick movement. I'm getting there's quick sideways conversations coming in here. This, that, and the other thing, and I knew this, and I knew that. Just weird side comments is what I'm getting from that. People not knowing where things are going. You're not knowing where things are going. People being upset. There's this, the Ten of Swords is at the bottom, which is telling me at the bottom you're not happy. And at the bottom of the situation, people know that you're not happy, and that's going to cause a change. At some point, it's going to cause some change in some respect. And the Moon card is questioning how is that going to actually happen. That's also at the bottom saying people know you're unhappy, and people know that the situation isn't stable because you're unhappy. You also know this. You're not happy, and you know the situation isn't stable because you're not happy. Whatever you're dealing with is trying to lock this in stronger. They don't want you to go anywhere. They don't want the change. Whatever the changes you want, person, place, job, whatever it is, whoever you're dealing with does not want it. It is very passionate about locking you in and keeping you from making any changes. At this point, you've got the Six of Pentacles. You're kind of trying to go with it. You're trying to do what you need to. You're trying to do what you need to with the situation. It's just, there's only so long you can kind of barter this, because I feel like this is barter trade. You know, the Six of Pentacles is giving and taking. This does not work without give and take. You can give only so much, but then you're going to have to take back later. You know what I mean? You give, like even when you pay for something, if you think you go to a fast food restaurant, you pay money, that's what you give. You get the food back, that's what you get. You know, whatever it is, that's what this is, a kind of a card of balance, not for nothing. Whatever is given, something is taken in return. You give, you take. Somebody gives, somebody takes. That's how this works. It's not usually just one way, at least not. There's some type of balance to it, at least in this situation. Let's leave it at that. For now, it seems to be working out. Here's where we're heading. And I feel like literally that balance card just flipped out because I had these face down. All right. Something has to give. The situation will not continue the way it has. At some point, this will fall apart. The balance will come around. You try to work with it. I'm getting you're trying to work with it. You're trying to stick with it. For whatever reason you feel you need to, you're trying to stick with it. Balance comes in with perfection. The way that perfection kind of pushes on this is kind of like it's been out of balance too long. You know how you feel. You know what you really want. You've been giving and giving and giving as much as you can. But it's getting to a point where you can't give anymore. And I feel like perfection is saying it's your turn to have what you want. Especially because of the energy coming out of the... Like if you look at the card, the mouth on that one lady, the bigger one, the bigger face, there's energy coming out the mouth. And I feel like it's saying it's time for you to speak your truth and get what you need out of the situation. When that comes forward, I get that there's slow changes, but it's kind of like there's a negotiation coming out here with the temperance. Accepting that things are changing. This is in the environment. So whatever it is, location, job, person, there's an acceptance that has to happen with that. There's going to be a slow working out. I feel like there's going to be a working out to where this doesn't have to be a bitter end, but something has to change here. And I'm getting the acceptance with coming in with the 9 of Cups here, saying like it's going to take some negotiation and some time, but I do feel like there's a fairly good ending to this. As good as you could expect anyway, and I feel like you know what that means. If this is hitting with you, of course. You're going to feel stuck at first. It's going to feel like, I don't know how I'm going to change this. I don't know how I'm going to move to that better location. I don't know how I'm going to get that better job. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this relationship into a better one that I really want. At first, you're going to feel stuck, like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, it's going to be very unnerving for you. But once you start accepting that it's going to have to change, options come your way, possibilities come your way, justice will come your way. A lot of this is all about how you're handling it, and you're doing your best to be as forthright as you can. You're doing your best to handle it the best you can. But what they're saying is you can't get around it. Something new is coming in. The King of Pentacles is coming in, but I feel like what it's saying is like once the change has started, there's going to be no turning around. So maybe that's also something to keep in mind. King of Pentacles, once the king has his mind set up, I'm going to go here and get everybody get in the car and here we go. They don't get 5 miles down the road and change their mind. Once they set out for a destination, they're damn well going to get there. So it's not caught up in the gender, so don't get caught up in the gender on this card. But basically the energy here is saying once you've acknowledged and started the communications where things will change, there's no turning back. Once you step forward out the door, once you take that first step out the door, there's no turning back. You're going to go through to the fruition and end up where you're going to end up. Are we done? We're done. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.